This is Zichru Gemara Sanhedrin Daf Chof Gimel. Now Chof Gimel, when you say out those letters, you have a kug, and therefore it's going to be Kugelach. Kugelach. So over here we have a beautiful Kugelach championship game. And there's refs, as every good game has. You have refs, and by us, the refs are going to be reminiscent of the Dayanim. So we have two boys in this Kugelach game, and they each choose one of the refs. They each choose a dayan. And then that ref chooses a third ref, a third dayan. And that's going to be the machlekes in the Mishnah as we begin the third parak, whether each of the Balei Dinim choose the third dayan or whether the dayanim choose the third dayan. That's going to be point number 2. And actually, point number 1. Now we're going to have one of the boys saying, I disqualify your judge. Him wanting to say, I don't like the dayan you chose. And the other boy is saying, no, I disqualify your aid. And that's really going to be the last 2 points in the daf, which are going to be machlokes. How do you disqualify the judge, in our case, the ref for the Kugelach game, and how do you disqualify an aid, as we see one of the guys over here watching, oh, no, you dropped it, you didn't accomplish that round in Kugelach. So again, Daf Chav Gimel, Kugelach. So the championship game, we know that whenever you have a game, you need refs, you need dayanim. So point number 1 is who chooses the dayanim, who chooses the refs. How do you choose the third ref? Point number 2 is going to be disqualifying the dayanim, and point number 3 is going to be disqualifying the edim. So we dive a little bit deeper, and the parak begins discussing the 3 judges being selected for monetary cases. Of course, that brings us all the way back to the beginning of the Masechta. And the Mishnah says, Zebar lo echav, Zebar lo echad. Each one chooses one judge. Shneim bar lo oid echad, which Gemara actually first thinks they each choose their own bezdin of 3. And the Gemara says, no, he means they each choose their own judge. And then they choose the third judge. The Chachamim say, no. Not that the 2 Balei Dinim, the 2 litigants, choose the third judge, but the 2 Dayanim. That's going to be the machlekes. And the Gemara explains that the machlekes is that each Balei Din chooses one judge. The machlekes is who selects the third judge. The Gemara says maybe this is a machlekes whether you're able to sign a shtar with you're only able to sign a shtar if you know whom you are signing against. And similarly over here, that the 2 dayanim need to know who the third judge is. Says Gemara, no, that's not their machlekes, and rather machlekes is das Balei Dinim. Do we require the Balei Dinim to consent to who the dayanim are, or is it enough if they choose one and that one chooses the third? Point number 2 is going to be disqualifying that ref, that judge in our Kugelach game on Daf Chav Gimel. The machlekes says, the Mishnah Ramir says, Zeh poisel dayana shel zev, Zeh poisel dayana shel zeh. Each one could passel up. The other dayanim say the Chachamim, no, you can't just passel someone up. You need a proof to passel someone up. Ask the Gemara, how could Ramir just allow one to disqualify a judge? Yochanan explains, we're talking about the courts of Syria, where the Dayanim were not experts in Torah. They're appointed by the public, and therefore each one could refuse such a Dayan, and they could insist, no, I want someone who is a Mumcha. But if someone were to be a Mumcha, that ain't a Chanami, everyone would agree you need to have a reason to disqualify them. The Chum say, no, Kishirin oy Mumcha mipi bezdin, you cannot disqualify such a judge. All the judges are nasek k'mumchim al pi bezdin. Chum told Rabbi, one cannot disqualify a judge, mumcha l'rabim. Says the third point was what? How do we disqualify Eidim? The Gemara asks, and Rabbi Yechon the Rameir agrees that a mumcha dayan cannot be disqualified because Eidim are similar to mumcha dayanim, meaning with regard to what the Eidim are doing, the same what the dayanim are doing, like mumcha rabim. And yet, what does Rameir hold? Rish Lakish screams, could that be? Rav Elazar explains, when he and another aid comes to invalidate the other witness, says the Gemara, the Baal Din is the Gia Be'edos because it's relevant to him. Says the Gemara, 2 reasons to understand what's going on over here. The Baal Din and the other witness is disqualifying him. Why? Pagam Mishpacha, because they're saying he's a slave. Rameir holds about his family. Rabbanan say he's negei be'edos, or it must be that the other Baldim says that there were two sets of edim, and the machlekes is sarach levarad. You have to prove it. So again, we're on Daf Chof Gimel, the Kugelach game, Kugelach, and each of the parties in the game are choosing a dayan. The machlekes in the Mishnah, does each choose one dayan and they choose the third dayan, or does each of them choose the third dayan? Point number 2 is how to disqualify the dayanim. Do you need to have a reason to disqualify the dayanim, or can you just say they're disqualified? Point number 3 is how to disqualify the edim. Daf Chof Gimel Kugelach in Gemara Sanhedrin.